Hi, this is Nick again from Creation Army TV. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about graphic styles. I mentioned one of these in one of my earlier videos when I was talking about the appearance palette. Graphic styles is a great way to make a complex appearance, or rather save a complex appearance. You can build an appearance like this this one here with the pattern fill and the orange text and the white stroke and all of that. And if you like what you have, you can always save it in the graphic styles palette. I keep mine up here over on the top right side, basically right next to my appearance palette, because they sort of work together like brother and sister. The appearance palette, like I said, is where you actually construct your complex appearance, and then the graphic styles palette is used to just kind of save them. But also I'll get into a little bit later about how you can actually control them on a document-wide basis and replace them and save them out for other documents. So if you watched my first video on appearance, then you're up to speed. You saw me build this word awesome, and then to save this save this appearance in the graphic styles palette, I'll actually do it one of three ways. You can take the object that you like and drag it right into the graphic styles palette, and when you do, you'll see a new thumbnail appear, and this is a little representation of what it tells us graphic style number 5. I like to double click on these sometimes and give them a name, you know, like candy or something like that. This one, you know, black to white gradient, you know, very basic gradient. And then you'll see some others here in my palette, which I'll get to. So you can save your graphic styles. There's no limit on how many you can save. And once you do save one, you'll create a new object. Let's say I create this star here. It's just my default graphic style, which is black. And by the way, to achieve the default graphic style here, which is always the first one, you can just hit D on whatever object you're drawing, and it'll snap to normal graphic style or default graphic style. I had mine just programmed to black fill, no stroke. And so I take this star and I like this graphic style. So how can I make it look like this? I can click on the graphic style itself, and now this appearance is now applied to this star, and you can see it here in the appearance palette, and that's fine. Another way to do it is use the eyedropper tool, which is here on the palette, on the tool palette. I have it on my E key for quick access, but I don't know what the default shortcut is for that. It might be I. But once you use the eyedropper tool, you select your target object, and then you want to eyedrop the appearance that you like, which in this case is this orange. So I can click this, but there's no guarantee that I'll get this actual appearance to apply to the star. I'll try it, and it doesn't work. When I click, nothing's happening. And you might run into this problem too, like why is the eyedropper not working? Here's what's happening. The eyedropper can be programmed on the fly by you to pick up only certain things. And in this case, the eyedropper is only picking up, let's say, a text style. And of course, there's no text on this star, so nothing happens. So how do we fix that? Take the eyedropper tool and hit enter. You can do this with any tool, and the options for that tool will pop up in front of you. And so here's what's happening. The eyedropper is doing a point sample rather than 3x3 or 5x5, and it is missing out on appearance, which is what we want. I have that checked off. For whatever reason, the last time I used this tool, I wanted to check off appearance, and I wanted to pick up everything else. I wanted to pick up fill and transparency and all that, and character style. But this time around, I wanted to pick up complete appearance, so I'll check that and just hit OK. Now, if I click awesome again with this selected, it'll pick up the total appearance, and now they're both using this appearance. So it's really handy, but notice that this graphic style is not highlighted, and I'm about to tell you why that's important. I will go ahead and highlight it. If you create a graphic style, you can store it. But sometimes you'll create a graphic style and you realize that as you draw more artwork, you draw your background, everything else, you realize that something about that graphic style or that appearance is not working for you and you want to change it. So you can change these at any time, and all of these objects which are using this candy graphic style will be universally changed, and that's a document-wide change. And so it can be really handy. So if you decide for some reason that you want to take, for the sake of, hypothetically, let's take the diagonal stripes out of this star and change the orange fill to something like this pink that I have in the swatches. So I'll go ahead and do that. I'll just make my change using the appearance palette. I'll target that first fill up top, which is the pattern, and I'll trash it. And nothing has changed yet, nothing at all, not even in the graphic style palette. And then I'll take this orange fill, which is showing here, and I'll touch the pink swatch that I have up here. Now I have a new appearance. Now I can just drag this in here and nothing happens. This graphic style is saved and nothing else. Or I can hit the new key on the bottom of the graphic style palette, or I can drag the appearance summary into the palette and a new graphic style is created, but nothing else is happening. And why? Well, to make the universal change to everything without even touching them, all you have to do is take your object that you do like and want to keep and want to replace with everything else, click, drag it, and hold the Alt or Option key on your keyboard, and just hover right over the graphic style that you want to change. In this case, it's this orange one. So I will hover right over it, and notice how a black box appears around it. That means that I'm about to universally replace it. And if I let go of my click, everything is now universally changed, except this didn't change for some reason. But that's okay. But you notice that these objects did, because they were linked to that graphic style. So if at any time, for instance right now, I'm going to change this pink fill to something closer to a light pink or something like that, I'll go ahead and again universally change this graphic style, and now everything changes. So it's very handy if you have a whole lot of objects on your artboard or artboards that all use a graphic style from this palette. And I'll just kind of delete. I like to sort of tidy this up. If I know I'm not using one, maybe I'll get rid of it. What else did I want to talk about? I talked about adding graphic styles, talked about universally replacing your graphic styles. Now be aware, the last thing I want to talk about is saving graphic styles for other documents. Be aware that any graphic styles that you make in this document will only apply to this document. So if I open up another document, you'll notice that my graphic styles palette will basically be empty, or it'll end at I think this gradient here, because I have them built into my template. But this cotton candy style that I just made will not be in my next document. So if you want to use all the graphic styles that you have here in another document, it's easy. You can click the little flyout arrow here, and you can actually save this graphic style library. If in this case, I'll save it to my desktop. Usually I'll save it right in the project folder that I'm working in, and I'll save it as candy styles, I guess. I'll just hit save. So that's on my desktop. Now if I start a new Illustrator document, you'll notice that my graphic styles palette is basically empty. I have my default always. I have a reflection style here that I like to use for symmetry, and then I have a thin hairline one which helps me draw and separate shapes. So if I draw an object now, I'm basically out of luck. I don't have the candy style here, like I did in my previous document. But I can pull those graphic styles into this document by hitting the flyout again, and instead of save, I'll hit open. These are built right into your applications folder. I sort of kind of ignore these, but you can explore these if you want. These come with Illustrator. But if you go down to the very bottom and hit other library, I'll go to my desktop, and there's candy styles right there. The thumbnail for it is just nothingness, but you can just ignore this. But this is a tiny little AI file that gets saved to my desktop, and all it does is save the graphic style information. So what pops up right here in the middle of my screen is a sort of new graphic styles palette. It says candy styles. Let's get rid of this. These are the graphic styles that I just saved, minus the default graphic style. Notice how it doesn't have a default graphic style. These are the graphic styles that I just saved from the previous document. And you can have two, I can put this palette here and work with it if I want to, or I can put it next to the other one. But if you know that you only need one or two, you can actually click and drag this into your graphic styles palette for this document. And then, let's say I want this one too. And then you can just kind of close this, and and there you go. And once you save this whole document as whatever it is, then you're good to go and your graphic styles are saved within the document. So graphic styles, very handy for storing complex appearances and universal replacement of complex appearances document-wide. So thanks for watching Creation Army TV. I'm Nick Cortez. I'll have a lot more for you in the near future. Take care.